Why is it that so many men who genuinely care about their relationships find themselves feeling disconnected, frustrated, and completely out of sync with their partners? You try to be accommodating, you make space for her needs, yet something feels off. The dynamic isn't flowing naturally, and despite your best intentions, there's a tension that lingers between you. Think about it. Perhaps you found yourself constantly deferring to her preferences on where to eat, what to watch, or how to spend your weekend. Maybe you've noticed yourself holding back your true thoughts to avoid conflict, or you might be exhausted from the mental gymnastics of trying to figure out what she wants, rather than clearly expressing what you want. This pattern creates an invisible burden that weighs on both of you. For you, it manifests as a nagging sense of inauthenticity, as if you're playing a role rather than being fully present in your relationship. For her, it creates a leadership vacuum that she may fill reluctantly, not because she wants to control everything, but because someone needs to steer the ship. I want to be clear about something important. This isn't about dominating your partner or imposing your will. True leadership in a relationship isn't about control. It's about creating a space where both people can be their authentic selves while moving together in a shared direction. It's about taking responsibility for your part in creating a dynamic where both partners feel secure enough to surrender to the relationship in their own ways. Many of us were taught contradictory messages about relationships. Be sensitive but not weak. Be strong but not controlling. Be open but not vulnerable. These mixed signals left us without a clear model of how to show up as men who can both lead and listen, be firm and be flexible. So we default to patterns that feel safe but ultimately undermine the very connection we're trying to build. When you habitually defer leadership in your relationship, you create an imbalance that affects both partners on a deep psychological level. You might think you're being respectful or progressive by letting her make the decisions, but what you're actually doing is abdicating your responsibility to bring your full self to the relationship. And here's the truth that might be difficult to hear. Most women don't actually want to lead all the time. This isn't about outdated gender roles, it's about the natural dance of energy between two people. In any partnership, there's a flow of giving and receiving, of leading and following, that shifts and changes. But when one person consistently refuses to step into their leadership energy, that flow becomes stagnant. Think about the last time you felt truly connected with your partner. Chances are, it was a moment when you were fully present, decisive, and authentic. You weren't second-guessing yourself or trying to read her mind. You were simply being you. And that clear energy created a space where she could relax into her feminine energy, whatever that means for her uniquely. So what's holding you back from bringing that energy more consistently? For many of us, it's fear. Fear of rejection if we express our true desires. Fear of conflict if our preferences don't align with hers. Fear of being seen as controlling if we take a more active role in decision-making. These fears are understandable, but they're also keeping you trapped in a pattern that serves neither of you. The solution isn't to suddenly start making all the decisions or to ignore her input. That would simply create a different kind of imbalance. Instead, it's about finding the courage to show up authentically and take responsibility for creating the kind of relationship dynamic that allows both of you to thrive. Here's how to begin shifting this pattern. First, reconnect with your own truth. Before you can lead in any capacity, you need to know what matters to you. What are your values? What kind of relationship do you want to create? What boundaries do you need to honor yourself? Getting clear on these fundamentals gives you an internal compass that guides your actions from a place of authenticity rather than reaction. Next, practice expressing your preferences without apology. This doesn't mean becoming rigid or uncompromising. It simply means being honest about what you want, rather than defaulting to whatever you want is fine with me. Something as simple as saying, I'd like to try that new restaurant tonight, instead of where do you want to eat, shifts the energy in a subtle but powerful way. Then, learn to make decisions from a place of consideration rather than consultation. There's a crucial difference. Consideration means taking her needs and preferences into account while still taking responsibility for the decision. Consultation means effectively putting the responsibility on her to decide. Small decisions are excellent practice for this skill. Where to go for dinner, what activity to do on the weekend, which route to take on a road trip. Another essential aspect is developing comfort with her discomfort. When you begin to change a long-standing pattern, there will inevitably be some friction. She may test your resolve, not because she doesn't want you to lead, but because she needs to know that your new way of showing up is consistent and trustworthy. Can you hold your center when she expresses disappointment or disagreement? Can you listen to her perspective without immediately abandoning your position? Perhaps most importantly, understand that true leadership includes vulnerability. Many men make the mistake of thinking that leading means never showing weakness or uncertainty, but authentic strength includes the courage to be honest about your fears, to admit when you're wrong, and to show your emotions. This kind of integrated leadership creates safety for both of you to be fully human together. As you begin to embody these qualities more consistently, you'll likely notice a shift in how she responds to you. This isn't about her submitting in the sense of becoming passive or subservient. It's about her feeling safe enough to surrender to the relationship dynamic, to trust your leadership in areas where it makes sense for your unique partnership. This surrender is actually a gift, one that she can only give freely when she feels truly seen, respected, and protected. It can't be demanded or manipulated. It can only be invited through the consistent demonstration of your integrity, clarity, and care. Remember that this is a dance, not a power struggle. There will be areas where her leadership is more natural and appropriate. There will be decisions that are clearly hers to make. The goal isn't to create a one-sided dynamic, but to restore balance to a relationship that may have tilted too far in one direction. The beautiful paradox here is that by stepping more fully into your masculine energy, your capacity for direction, decision, and action, you create more space for her to express her feminine energy in whatever way is authentic to her. This might manifest as more openness, receptivity, creativity, or nurturing, not because these qualities are inherently feminine, but because the balanced exchange of energy between you allows both of you to access more of your full human potential. This journey requires patience. You're unwinding patterns that may have been established over years, influenced by your upbringing, past relationships, and cultural conditioning. Give yourself and your partner grace as you find a new way of relating to each other. Start with small changes. Notice opportunities in your daily interactions to practice these principles. Pay attention to how the energy shifts between you when you show up differently. Be willing to adjust your approach based on what you learn, while staying committed to the core intention of bringing your full authentic self to the relationship. The ultimate goal isn't to create a relationship where you always lead and she always follows. It's to create a dynamic where both of you feel free to express your full range of energies, to lead and to follow, to give and to receive, to act and to surrender, in a dance that honors both your individual truths and your shared vision. When you stop letting her lead by default and start showing up with clarity, integrity, and genuine care, you create the conditions where she can naturally relax into her own authentic expression. Not because you've demanded it, but because you've made it safe for both of you to be fully yourselves together. This is the foundation of a truly intimate partnership, one where power isn't something to be claimed or surrendered, but something that flows naturally between two people who trust each other enough to be real. It's available to you right now, beginning with the simple courage to know your truth and speak it with love.